home to Chairman Paul.
So what'd you all do in the last hour? Never mind. 1890 Powell, Chevy's, Fresh Mex Restaurant.
Chair, Commission, and members of the public, this is a sign application for the new and proposed Chevy's Fresh Mex restaurant at the former Charlie Brown site. You may recall that you approved a brew pub and restaurant last April and May, and a sign program was also approved by you during that time. The brewery project never came to fruition, and instead Chevy's Fresh Mex has taken over the building, and the use permit and design review could proceed administratively given the past approvals for the building renovations and use of the restaurant that you had approved prior. So the question before you now is the Chevy sign program. It calls for a freestanding 40-foot high double pole pylon sign reading Chevy's at the entrance to the driveway on Frontage Road, off of Frontage Road. A roof-mounted sign consisting of exposed neon reading Chevy's on the roof, mounted well under the ridge line. A fascia sign at the north elevation consisting of the message Chevy's Fresh Mex, and an entrance sign above the main door of the restaurant off the parking lot. Staff has reviewed the sign package and believes that the signs on the building itself represent a fairly crisp and clean identification for the new use for the new restaurant, and also blend and complement very well the architectural and exterior changes that are underway at the restaurant. Our main concern is with the 40-foot high pylon sign with the double red poles. We believe that there is a question here about appropriate identification versus what's necessary to make the site and restaurant visible. I believe that the sign program for the building itself, which is illuminated signs, there's a new additional sign on the north elevation. There are neon highlights outlining the roof line of the building, will be quite visible given its location. And while I believe some freestanding sign element is warranted given the highway location of this restaurant and the former Charlie Brown sign, I believe that it needs to be redesigned to be lower and to have a firmer, more architecturally related base to it instead of the double red poles. I have discussed this with representatives of the sign design company and with Chevy's, and they have come up with a couple of suggestions for the base of the sign, and they will be presenting those tonight. I believe that both of them have promise. They still are fairly focused on the 40-foot height. My understanding of this is that they need it for identification and to establish the fact that Chevy's will be here. I have no problem with that. The 40-foot high, that's high. It's 4 stories high. And I believe that there will be adequate visibility given its location and the location of that sign when viewed from I-80, particularly given the speed at which most people travel during the day and evening. So I stand by 25, 30 feet high. Chevy's will make their pitch to you, and I believe that they are making progress on the base of the sign. So with that, I will conclude my remarks. I believe you can move forward if you desire to take action tonight on the signs for the building itself. I believe that's a good program and actually represents less signage than Charlie Brown's has now because of the decrease in size of the roof sign. If you wanted to take action to set a height and look at the alternative sign designs or base designs that have been that will be presented to you tonight, I think that you could do that as well, but the ball's in your court.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of staff?
I have one. I guess my question is, how does this sign square with the sign program that we have?
Oh, well,
Or does it?
we You mean that we have for the city?
Yes.
Our sign ordinance is very generous. We basically, you can have a series of signs with just an administrative approval, and then basically anything you want with the approval of the commission.
The freestanding pole?
Okay.
Yes, that freestanding signs are permitted with your review and approval.
Mr. Coop?
On the drawings, there is, on sheet K, there is an indication for 1M, which is on Powell Street. Do you know anything about that? Did I miss that sheet?
No, I missed that as well, so maybe we can ask the applicant
will address that,
tonight.
though.
I know that they removed the Charlie Brown's directional sign off of Powell, but I missed that as well.
Okay. That's it. Any other questions of staff? It's the applicant here, and would you like to make a presentation?
Good evening. My name's Bill Schrader. My address is 164 Oak Road in Alamo. I'm an East Bay resident. And Skip Moore is with me tonight from Bill Moore and Associates, a sign vendor here in Albany, just north of Emeryville. And first I want to tell you how excited we are about being here. I am the Chief Development Officer for Chevy's and one of the owners of the company. And we're already demoed, and with a little luck, we're going to be open by Cinco de Mayo. And we really like the site. We think we're going to do very well. We're very happy to be here. Second, I want to thank Claudia. We've worked very closely with her for the last 3 or 4 months. We've worked with BCDC on the design of the restaurant. We've tried very hard to stay inside the guidelines that you all approved previously for fault line. The controversy that we have, or somewhat of a controversy with Claudia, and hopefully we can work something out tonight, is what we feel is the need for a pole sign in this location. 40 feet, while it seems high, is, I think in your package you'll see, is about the height of some of the pine trees that are on the site already. The real technical difficulty for us in any new restaurant, but especially in this one, is the first 2 years are critical to the success of any restaurant, no matter, how well known you are, how good you are, etc. You got to get customers in to try you, to come back, to meet the manager, to experience the crew and so on. And that critical 2 years is also the time frame that, based upon all of our discussions with the Spieker folks, that they're going to be building either 1 or 2 office buildings or a hotel. You couple that with the fact that this restaurant is twice as big as any other restaurant that we have in the system. It'll be by far the largest restaurant that we own in the company. What that means to us and to you is, in order to make this restaurant successful, we've got to draw from, frankly, beyond the borders of Emeryville. That means we got to draw people off of I-80. We got to draw people from Berkeley who currently, frankly, can't, go to Chevy's, and neither can people in Emeryville without driving all the way up to Richmond or going over to Alameda. So, given the size of the restaurant, we're going to have about 425 seats in it, including the patio. We need to draw people from a ways away, and we need to do it in the first couple of years, because what happens is when people experience the restaurant and they know that you're there, then they come back. The restaurant, unfortunately, while it's on I-80, it's off and it's angled away. And so what we've done with Claudia is we've moved the pole sign back to where the original Charlie Brown sign was, at the access road, about 100 yards off of the intersection. It's not out on the freeway. It's only a single-sided sign, and our deal that we have with Spieker is the sign will be 40 feet and then reduced to 25 feet on or before, whichever occurs first, the completion of the first office building, or 2 years, whichever comes first. So I can't technically, even with my landlord, have the sign at 40 feet for more than 2 years. The logic being twofold. One, we got to have customers coming and finding us. We got to draw some off the freeway given the size of the restaurant. But most importantly, if we don't have people coming to us early when we got steel in the air, and you guys have seen 10-story office buildings under construction, which is going to happen right in front of this restaurant. So that's our issue, and that's what we'd like you to consider. Now, in working with Claudia and her concern about the design, I have 2 packages. Unfortunately, I don't have enough for everyone, but maybe I'll start at each end and you can see it. We've come up with a couple of different designs, one of which you can see up here on the board plays off of the architectural elements that are already in the bayfront there with the piers as you see them. As Claudia is pointing them out. The other design plays a little bit more off of the architecture of the restaurant itself. And I've got drawings similar to what you see up there, and I'll pass these out to you.
Could you put one set on the board as well?
Sure. Boards, can you not put them up there for some reason, of the other design? Oh, sure. We got one.
You got one of them.
The camera, the biggest crowd is at home watching it on TV.
Yeah.
We'll share. How many do you have?
I've only got
VCRs. VCRs.
Put one up there and we don't need one.
Mayor.
So you can see architecturally there's two styles. One that's got some elements that are pulled off the building, and the other one that has elements that are pulled off the bay itself. Both show 40 feet going down 2 years from now to 25 feet in its permanent position whenever the office building's finished, or 2 years, whichever comes first. And with that, I'd love to answer any questions.
Excuse me, are there any questions of the applicant?
Yes. Drawing 1M.
On the plan, 1M?
1M. Oh, that's the monument on Powell Street. That sign monument is under Spieker's permit. There's a monument there currently, apparently, for Charley Brown's that they've given to us. And I don't know, Claudia, whether they have to get another permit to do that or not.
They have a permit from us to redo the signs in the Watergate office complex. It would basically act as a directional or identification sign. You may note, if you haven't, that there's large bases, semicircular bases down on Powell, and they will provide, it's actually a much nicer sign program than was there. So that is under a separate permit, and that will act as a directional sign to provide access or direction to people who are on Powell, that Chevy's is accessible from Powell if you drive down into the Watergate office.
Yeah, kind of through the middle of the project and down and take a right versus, turning at the gas station.
So that's a change of text of an approved sign, and we
That was a
about
sign that was there directionally. It was really ugly. If it was old, and it actually will match the rest of the speaker sign program. So you're right. That's what it is. That's the clarification.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry we didn't have enough copies, so everybody's getting a chance to look at
Have
it.
you actually done any research, and it happened to be 40 feet in order for people to be able to see it from their car in the freeway?
Yeah, we did a number of, let me back up. In working with Spieker, because the fault line folks have been here with you before, John Winther and I spent a lot of time talking about this sign. We took photographs. We actually took a crane out there and raised it up at different levels. We created photographs. We put it in Photoshop or something so you could see. And the belief is at 40 feet, it'll be visible from about the university off-ramp. Because when you get before that, it's blocked out, and otherwise you just start to lose it. So, frankly, most of our pole signs that we have, both in San Jose, and we have one in Dixon, we got one in Fairfield on I-80, are actually taller than this. So we compromised down to 40 with John.
said you're from the East Bay. Did you speak correctly when you said from the University off-ramp?
Or Ashby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, we can't see it from there. No, it's from Ashby. That'd be hard to do because Ashby's in the way.
No, it's tall enough. I'm sure you
I
can.
don't think so.
I can see PPP from University.
Yeah. The other
See what I can see from my back deck?
the other compromise we made with John was we made the sign one-sided and sort of angled to the Powell Street exit rather than perpendicular to 80, so you can kind of see it from both directions.
So how do you see it now? You see it from what direction?
You can only see it coming from the, I guess, east going west by the north going south, correct? That's the only way you can see the sign.
If you make an assumption that people drive in both directions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, wouldn't a lower sign that's viewable from either direction generate the same amount of awareness? Because you have a lot of people coming over the 80 over there, and then
The thing is, we negotiated with the landlord. Ideally, a double-sided lower sign closer to the freeway would probably work better, but Spieker didn't want it there. They wanted it further off the street so that it kind of wasn't the first thing you saw. You know, maybe the first thing you see is their new office building or hotel or whatever they end up doing. So the sign, in fact, is quite a distance off of Powell, off of the exit ramp, where the existing pole sign was. In fact, on that map right there, it's that last curve there. So you're correct in that a 25-foot pole sign, double-sided, closer to the signal would probably be better for visibilities from both directions, but we couldn't get that done with them.
I'm having trouble understanding this. A 25-foot sign, wouldn't that be quite visible? I mean, is the point of the 40-foot sign because you think that there will be a potential building there in the future that will hide the sign?
My concern is in the first 2 years, which is the critical part to make any restaurant successful, is I need people to know that we're there. And I'm not sure that the signage that we have on the building, given the way it's faced kind of away from the freeway, will work. And so given that they're going to be building a 8, 10, 12-story office building and erecting steel and all that goes on to build an office building right at the critical point of our restaurant opening is our issue. And that's why we agreed that it would be 40 feet until 2 years or whenever the office building is built, whichever is earlier.
Have they given you an indication of when they expect to start construction?
I know they're on the agenda tonight for something. I'm not sure exactly what.
It's okay.
but
The sign will go down before that building will go up.
Yeah, or maybe in the middle of it. I don't, it depends upon what they've got.
2 years is all you have.
That's our limit in the deal. Yeah, we
And then
can't.
it goes down.
Then it goes down to 25 feet. So Skip, in fact, has designed it so that it's basically in pieces and it drops down to 25.
Find out that you're just immensely successful, which we know you will be, and it will be passed all the time. Long before the 2 years, will you move it down earlier?
Sure, if we could figure out how to write that. That it totally is our concern, is that we want to make sure that people, because if this restaurant was only 7,000 feet like our normal restaurant, I don't think it'd be that big an issue.
Commissioner Germain, did you want to say something?
How we could base it, the height of the sign on tax revenues.
There you go.
No,
Maybe we could write that
The
somehow.
higher revenue, the lower the sign.
right.
Where are your
Alan
other
Carroll?
locations?
We've got along the 80 corridor, we're in Richmond and we're in Fairfield, and we just opened in Vacaville and all the way out to Dixon and then around the Bay Area, and we've got stores on the East Coast and some stores in Chicago. I'm sorry? Yeah, we're in Marin and Greenbrae.
Used to be in El Cerrito. Any more commissioner questions? Okay, sir, this is a public hearing, so I'm going to ask for public comment, and then we'll get back to you.
Okay, thanks.
Is there anyone in the public who wishes to comment on this issue? Don't go far.
I'm back.
Okay. Close the public hearing on this issue. Commissioners, thoughts?
I have one.
Mr. Lutz.
I like the sign. I like the 40-foot.
Which one? The 40-foot. Which 40-foot sign?
The one with the The one with the,
The tree, the
Yeah.
pier tile.
yeah. The
Piling.
that looks like a
Yeah.
piers. Yeah, I think it looks good.
I have no objection to it because it's really unobtrusive. And if they really feel that they need to have it, and as long as we know it's going to go down to 25 feet in 2 years, works for me.
I presume you would put a specific condition of approval for only 2 years,
Yes.
regardless of what their deal with Spieker is.
From what date?
And the date of installation complete.
Or a hard date.
Okay.
Hard-
February 1st, 2001.
2 years from the opening of the
If
restaurant.
you want to make it
right?
really hard, make it February 30th.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz. See what fun it is to be part of the peanut gallery?
Should,
Mr.
just for clarification of that condition, should the sign be actually reduced by that date, or that we should actually...
Chainsaws out there cutting
Right,
it
I
on
was
that
gonna
date.
say.
Since this is going to be piers.
I think that it should be reduced by that date, or we should retain the services of the former city attorney.
Of Danville, right?
Can I offer a compromise date? Cinco de Mayo of 2001,
Wow.
which would be
so this
2
would be
years
a-
from this
would be a
May 5th.
Significant.
Cool.
It's going to be a party, I hope, this year if we can get it built. There's a lot
Will
of
you
work.
lower the
There's-
sign if we promise to come patronize the place?
Oh, sure. On Cinco... How do you... There you go.
I don't think we can do the 425 seats.
We can try. Any other commissioner comments before we get to that point?
And it's the...
All right, is there a,
I just want to clarify that it's the design of the large
Yeah.
brown poles, right, tied together?
the pier style?
Pier style.
The pier style pole. Okay.
Here's what we're talking about. Would someone like to make a motion?
Move approval with the modification that the design is the pole sign, which is up there on the left, and that the 40 feet gets reduced to 25 feet in 2 years. No, before Cinco de Mayo 2001.
I'll second it.
Okay, May 5th. Just make sure.
Is that always on May the 5th?
Yeah.
Yes.
bingo.
it's always on May the 5th.
Well, I don't know. I'm German. What do I know?
Is there objection to unanimous consent?
Okay.
Hearing none, passes. Congratulations.
We're anxious to have you come into town.
Apparently somebody wants margaritas.
Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you at Cinco de Mayo this year.
Thank you. All right, where's my...